Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's hybrid New York City Council meeting of the Committee on Veterans. If you wish to submit testimony, you may send it to testimony@council.nyc.gov. Again, that's testimony@council.nyc.gov. Thank you for your cooperation. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Good morning. I am Councilmember Robert Holden, Chair of the New York City Council's Committee on Veterans, and I want to thank you all for attending this critical oversight and legislative hearing on how New York City's veterans access health care. Today, we will hear Reso 130, sponsored by Councilmember Gail Brewer, calling on the federal government to halt the planned closure of Manhattan and Brooklyn's Veterans Affairs medical centers. We will also hear my bill, Intro 394, which requires each community board to establish a committee dedicated to the needs of veterans and their families within the community district. As a former community board member myself, I know having an institutionalized voice on the board will help local veterans connect with the resources they need. And that's a serious issue that we have today with our veterans, connecting to their benefits. And certainly a community board committee can help and will help. So when I first learned about the proposed closing of the VA hospitals, I organized a letter to the VA protesting the closures. Now get this, all 51 council members signed the letter. That is never, I don't think it's happened, at least in my lifetime, to have 51 council members agree on anything, much less signing on to a letter, that is to be, and again, I want to thank my staff for that, because it's not an easy task to get all the council members in a timely fashion, get them to read the letter, get them to sign on, but they all did. So if somebody can come up with another case where 51 members signed on, you know, I'll eat my words, but I don't think it's happened again in my memory. So that tells you what New York City feels about the closures or proposed closures of the VA hospitals. So in March 2022, the VA submitted recommendations to modernize and realign the VA healthcare infrastructure to the Asset Infrastructure Review Commission, called AIR, A-I-R. The VA's recommendation for the Metro New York market include closing the flagship Manhattan VA Medical Center and partnering with an affiliated hospital to provide inpatient and outpatient services at a new location. Relocating emergency department services from the Manhattan VA Medical Center to partnering hospitals. 3, closing the Brooklyn VA Medical Center and replacing it with an outpatient clinic. And then 4 is modernizing the St. Albans and Bronx VA Medical Centers to address inpatient needs and increased demand resulting from the closures of the Brooklyn and Manhattan facilities. Despite the VA's pledges of strategic collaboration and partnership with the remaining medical centers and private providers, it remains unclear how the VA will coordinate and optimize the delivery of medical care in the absence of these two centrally located facilities. The fact that the report references the Manhattan VA as a, quote, desirable piece of land that could be valuable to a development partner. If you just heard what I said, they care. It suggests the interests of veterans is not the only consideration, and lucrative financial interests, real estate, can also be at play. They say that real estate is valuable there, and they're putting the VA. If you read that, the VA is saying it's a valuable piece of real estate, and that's why we want to close it, because we can realize a lot of money from that, which is disgraceful. This leaves New York City veterans and their families questioning how they will secure the health care services they need and are entitled to. At the Veterans Advisory Board meeting, the VA representatives were unable to answer many questions from New York City's veterans. Unfortunately, the Veterans Administration ignored our request to send a representative to testify today. At first, there was silence from the VA when we told them about the hearing. And then when my staff finally got someone on the phone, they claimed they were not given enough notice. When the public hearing notice was pointed out to them, and it was, again, weeks and weeks ago, the VA reminded us that they would need to see all of the questions ahead of time. And the person who would testify would, of course, need approval from a nameless bureaucrat who would then testify, who would not testify themselves, even though they're the ones making the decision. So I am confident that if we satisfied every requirement asked of us, the VA would still not be here today. Ultimately, the VA just doesn't want to answer difficult questions, and that's on the record now. The Mission Act requires the VA to consult with veterans and veteran service organizations served by the affected regions. The VA's unwillingness to discuss its proposals highlights why so many veterans do not trust the VA. We often hear about Americans losing faith in public institutions and the spread of misinformation. Unfortunately, Secretary Dennis McDonough's decision not to send a single representative today contributes to these trends. However, today's hearing is an opportunity for our veterans to voice their questions and concerns about how the proposed closures of the VA flagship facilities will impact their health care. Veteran service organizations such as the Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, Disabled American Veterans, DAB, and the Paralyzed Veterans of America, PVA, have criticized the opaque process that produced the VA's recommendations to shutter New York City's VA medical centers. I am committed to doing everything I can to ensure that VA employs a robust and transparent hearing process to weigh the consequences of closure on the veteran community. I look forward to a productive conversation with New York City's Department of Veteran Services about how the proposed closure of the Manhattan and Brooklyn VA medical centers will impact the quality and availability of veteran health care in New York City and how it will affect New York City's continuum of care. This includes evaluating the military cultural competency of New York City's private health care providers, notable trends in DVS requests for health and mental health services, and DVS's ongoing communication with the VA about the proposed recommendations. And I want to thank the Veterans Committee staff for their help in assembling this hearing, Committee Counsel Nicholas Connell, Policy Analyst Elizabeth Arts, and Principal Finance Analyst Sebastian Bacci, and of course my staff, Chief of Staff Daniel Kuzina, and Legislative Director Craig Caruana. Now I would like to turn it over to, well, she's not here yet, Gail Brewer, okay? No, okay. Well, Gail Brewer said she would come and talk about her bill, so I would like to turn it over to Committee Counsel to issue the oath. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Elizabeth Arts, and I'm the Policy Analyst to the Committee on Veterans for the New York City Council. Before we begin, I want to remind those members of the public who are participating virtually that you will be on mute until you are called on to testify, but you will be unmuted by Council staff. I will be calling on panelists to testify. Please listen for your name to be called. I will periodically be announcing who the next panelist will be. Please note there may be a few seconds of delay before you are unmuted when we get to the public portion of the testimony. And thank you in advance for your patience. All hearing participants should submit written testimony to testimony@council.nyc.gov. At today's hearing, the first panel will be representatives from the administration, followed by council member questions, and then followed by public testimony. During the hearing, if council members would like to ask a question of the administration or a specific panelist, please raise your hand to alert the chair or committee staff. I will now call on members of the administration to testify. Testimony will be given by James Hendon, Commissioner of the Department of Veterans Services. Additionally, the following representative will be available for answering questions: Amari Espinal, Executive Director of Community Services, Department of Veterans Services. Before we begin, I will administer the oath. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this committee, and to respond honestly to council member questions? Great. Thank you. You may begin when ready.
Sorry. Yeah, let me start over. Good morning, Chair Holden, members of the committee, and advocates, and New York City veterans. My name is James Hendon. I am honored to serve as Commissioner of the New York City Department of Veteran Services. I'm joined by my colleague and Army veteran, Amari Espinal, Executive Director of Community Services at DVS. Thank you for providing this opportunity to discuss the very important topic of veterans health care, as well as Resolution 130-22, sponsored by Councilmember Brewer, which calls on the Department of Veterans Affairs to halt its proposed closures of the Manhattan and Brooklyn VA medical centers, and Intro 394, sponsored by Chair Holden, requiring each community board to establish a veterans committee. Each of New York City's veterans and their dependents deserve access to timely, culturally competent, and high-quality health care. It is a right they have earned through their immense sacrifice and selfless service to our country. That is why the current administration firmly believes VA health care services should not be reduced in New York City. More than a decade's worth of scientific studies has established that the Veterans Health Administration delivers care that is not only equal but often superior to that available in the private sector. Earlier this year, when the VA released its market recommendations to the Asset and Infrastructure Review Commission, calling for the closure of the Brooklyn and Manhattan medical centers and the realignment of the Staten Island community-based outpatient clinic with New Jersey, Mayor Adams made it very clear that he would fight hard to keep these facilities open and properly accessible. Now is not the time to consider reducing healthcare services for veterans, especially as the Senate considers passing the Honoring Our Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxins Act of 2021, also known as the PACT Act. This important bill is aimed at improving health care and benefits for veterans exposed to toxic substances. If passed, the PACT Act will expand health care eligibility for post-9/11 veterans, affecting about 3.5 million combat veterans who are suspected to have been exposed to burn pits and other hazardous agents. In New York State alone, roughly 13% of veterans began serving during the post-9/11 war operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, and that figure is expected to rise by 22% by 2025. The potential for sweeping healthcare eligibility expansion means that VA services in New York City must be increased, not diminished. In addition, women are the fastest growing demographic among the veteran population, making up roughly 9.4% of the total force, with 2 million strong. Plus, the VA expects the number of women veterans to double by 2040. This population growth alone highlights the need for more specialized women's health treatment options, an expansion that would be stunted should any of the New York City VA health care facilities close. The VA's recommendations to the Asset and Infrastructure Review, or AIR Commission, also points to privatization to right-size the VA's footprint in New York City. However, there are significant risks associated with shifting veterans' health care to the private sector. Military cultural competency is crucial when it comes to providing care that veterans can trust, especially given the community's high rates of service-connected PTSD and physical disability. VA clinical professionals have been specifically trained to understand and care for the unique needs of our veterans, and we do not want this trust to be diminished. As the VA and Congress continue discussions about the potential expansion of care in the community for veterans, it is essential to consider private provider readiness, including familiarity with military culture. We must also focus on the negative impacts that closing these two facilities will have across New York State. The VA is the second largest federal employer in the country, and the closure of these facilities will most certainly result in job loss for New Yorkers currently employed at the Manhattan and Brooklyn VA medical centers, many of whom are veterans themselves. The VA also contributes about $1.8 billion in federal operating dollars to New York City and over $7 billion to the state. Without question, the downsizing of healthcare facilities will lessen federal investment in our city and state. The closure of these hospitals will also likely mean that New York State will be forced to increase spending on Medicaid for veterans while losing funding brought in by VA benefits. There's also concern that these closures will cause added burden on the city's hospital system, especially the facilities run by our sister agency, New York City Health and Hospitals. The burden of reduced services should not be put on our veterans. Instead, the VA's focus should be on increasing outreach so that our veterans are better aware of the services available to them at these hospitals, in addition to investing in modernization and facility upgrades at each New York City VA facility. We understand there is a long runway before the AIR Commission takes further action regarding the VA market recommendations. Therefore, we must use this precious time to advocate for what is best for New York veterans. DVS is committed to amplifying our community's voice and ensuring the New York congressional delegation understands that these facilities are vital to the landscape of veteran services in our city. We also urge the VA and the Air Commission to actively consult and collaborate with local veteran service organizations and veteran stakeholders in the Metro New York market during all future market assessment activities. The New York City Department of Veteran Services firmly supports Resolution 130, 2022, and especially thanks its sponsor, Councilmember Gail Brewer, as well as Chair Holden and committee members for taking this bold position to protect New York City veterans' access to health, to high-quality healthcare services. We also appreciate this chair's efforts to introduce Bill number 394, requiring each community board to establish a veterans committee. We value the council's interest in supporting the veteran community more broadly, and as such, the administration is reviewing the bill to further evaluate its implications and impact. While the final outcomes of the VA Air Commission are beyond the control of New York City government, our agency remains unshaken in our commitment and mission to ensure all New York City veterans get connected to excellent care. Our Vet Connect NYC Care Network features 12 vetted healthcare providers that offer support within the areas of both physical and mental health. Some of these providers include the Center for Urban Community Services, Hope for the Warriors, the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at NYU Langone, and the area vet centers. Throughout fiscal year 2022, the top 3 most frequently requested healthcare services amongst our constituents were individual counseling, supportive therapies, and psychiatric services. This sheds light on the types of services that our constituents will rely on from our Vet Connect NYC network providers should the anticipated closures of VA medical centers actually take place. DVS takes great care in the service referral coordination support we directly provide to our veterans. As such, in 2021, DVS began the implementation of 2 health assessments known as the Patient Health Questionnaire 9, the PHQ-9, and the Generalized Anxiety Disorder 7, or the GAD-7, to screen our clients for depression and anxiety. Since 2021, DVS staff have conducted just under 900 health assessments, for which 18% indicated severe anxiety or depression. These assessments have added depth to our client triage process and have enabled our staff to evaluate the totality of our clients' needs so they may be matched with providers that offer appropriate care. It is also important to note that our agency provides care coordination support to any veterans regardless of their discharge status. It is widely known that bad paperwork and other than honorable discharges can severely limit a veteran's access to VA healthcare services. Realizing the important role that having good paperwork plays in providing a bridge to healthcare treatments, our office specifically contracts with 2 legal service providers that are also part of the Vet Connect NYC provider network to support discharge upgrades. Our goal is to eliminate as many barriers to healthcare as possible. Whenever our team encounters a veteran who is not eligible for VA healthcare services, we refer them to health and hospitals for connection to the city's Get Covered NYC program that connects low-income New Yorkers to affordable health insurance coverage. Disability determination also expands access to healthcare services and benefits, which is why DVS became accredited to process VA disability claims in the summer of 2020. Since July of 2020, DVS has successfully actioned 299 claim submissions, the vast majority of which involved a claim of disability. Only 14.9% of New York City's veterans currently receive disability compensation, and we believe the number of those who are eligible may be much higher, especially if the Honoring Our Pact Act passes. Some of our most vulnerable veterans are those who are ineligible for VA healthcare services and experiencing homelessness. That is why DVS is an administering partner in the HUD-VASH program. HUD-VASH, Housing and Urban Development Veteran Assistance Supportive Housing Program, is a collaborative effort between the Department of Housing and Urban Development and city agencies that provides housing choice vouchers, or HCV, rental assistance subsidies, case management, and supportive services to veterans in need. Services provided are designed to help homeless veterans and their families find and sustain permanent housing and access health care, mental health treatment, substance use counseling, and other supports necessary to help them recover and maintain housing, stable housing. At DVS, we strongly believe that accessibility starts first and foremost with awareness. In addition to the services I just mentioned, DVS also maintains a robust website, newsletter, and printed resource guide booklet, all of which promote information about healthcare services, including VA facility locations and other wellness benefits. Shortcuts could not be taken when it comes to making sure our veterans stay healthy and well-positioned to lead purposeful lives. Now is the time for collaboration between all levels of government to make certain healthcare options for this community, to make sure that certain options for this community are not scaled back. We value the working relationship we have with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and call on VA leadership to leverage DVS as a strategic partner when they consider what the future holds for VA facilities in our city. I'm happy to share that earlier this week, DVS co-hosted a community convening with the Bob Woodruff Foundation that brought together roughly 250 veterans and representatives from community-based organizations to discuss solutions for some of the issues that face the veteran population. Last, I'd like to take this opportunity to share a clear message with our community. The New York City Department of Veterans Services remains focused on serving you despite whatever may happen that is beyond the city's control. We will do our utmost to make certain you do not experience any gaps in health care or any other life services. That is our steadfast commitment. It is an honor and a privilege to serve all of you, and I thank you for allowing me to testify before you today. We are pleased to address any questions you may have.
Thank you, Commissioner, for a very thorough testimony. I'll have a few questions, and then I'll get into questions from, right now, my colleague. We also are joined by Councilmember Joanne Ariola, and Councilmember Gail Brewer is just coming in. And we'll give you time to get settled, and maybe you'll jump in with your testimony on your legislation. So again, thanks you, Commissioner, and it's good to see that we're on the same page about this, and I knew you would be. And I just want to have a few questions, and then I'll turn it over to questions from my colleagues. So the 2018 VA Mission Act establishes a process for realigning and modernizing facilities of the Veterans Health Administration. Pursuant to the Mission Act of 2018, the VA Secretary is required to consult with veterans and veteran service organizations served by the affected regions. To the best of your knowledge, do you know whether DVS, local veteran service organizations, or the New York City veterans were consulted by the VA as part of the market area assessment for the Metro New York market that was included in the written report of March 2022?
To my knowledge, no, we were not consulted, Mr. Chair.
So, that's a first, right off the bat. And again, the reason why the VA is not here today is because they know there's been a number of missteps, and this is the first one. So the Mission Act of 2018 further requires the Air Commission to conduct public field hearings that include a veteran or a local, veteran or local officials in regions impacted by the VA Secretary's recommendations to close a VA facility. Has DVS learned of any plans by the Air Commission to hold public field hearings on these potential closures in New York City?
We have not heard about any plans for these types of hearings, Mr. Chair.
Okay, another So we're getting into a pattern here. We're going to start. So if the proposed closures are agreed to, it is unclear how the VA will seek to rebalance and optimize the delivery of medical services between VA and community-delivered care in the Metro New York market. Has DVS received any additional information from the VA about the proposed recommendations to reset the Metro New York market?
We have not, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so they're batting zero. So the VA recommended replacing the Manhattan VA MC by partnering with an academic affiliate to establish a new facility offering inpatient mental health. Does DVS have any information whatsoever about which academic affiliates the VA is considering partnering with?
We have no information, Mr. Chair.
Wow. This is going to continue. So, has DVS engaged the local veteran community about the VA recommendations to reset the Metro New York market? If so, what are the top concerns raised by local veterans, veteran service organizations, and local providers?
We have engaged the community, Mr. Chair, through already discussing it with veterans at separate events that they have, and through our Veterans Advisory Board meeting as far as being an active member there where this is discussed, and in other venues. The top issue is people don't want to lose their health care, Mr. Chair. People are afraid of the idea of not having the services they've used and depended on for years. Another piece of this is for our veterans in Staten Island and Richmond County. The recommendation is that rather than utilize services in the city and in the state, that they use the East Orange VA. And so there's a whole other situation here in asking them to go to another state and use different transportation arteries to be able to access health care coverage. That's a huge issue as well, Mr. Chair.
So again, I was going to ask another question, but you answered it in your testimony. So what, again, the unique services, what new unique services do the Manhattan and Brooklyn VA medical centers provide that the New York City-based vet centers and community clinics presently do not offer?
I want to, before getting deep into that, I want to be clear, it's the cultural competency that these centers have, and these are hospitals. The difference between a clinic and a hospital. Just to read through, the Margaret Corbin VA, Manhattan VA, has 27 different services it offers. The Brooklyn VA has 34 different services it offers. In contrast, when you look at the clinics, if you look at the Harlem VA clinic, they have 4 services. Look at the clinic in Staten Island, the community VA clinic, there are 13 services. I'll read you some of the hospital services, then read you some of the clinic services, get an idea of just the disparity here. Advanced nursing support, audiology and speech support, blind and vision support, COVID-19 vaccines, cardiology, dental, oral surgery, dermatology, emergency care, gastroenterology, homeless veterans care, LGBTQ plus veterans care, mental health care, military sexual trauma care, nutrition, food and dietary care, ophthalmology, orthopedics, PTSD care, pain management, pharmacy, podiatry, primary care, urology, vocational rehab and employment services, whole health services. That's just listing Manhattan VA. If we add some things from Brooklyn, because remember they have more at Brooklyn, it's cancer care, gynecology, minority veterans care, palliative and hospice care, patient advocates are there, returning service member care, suicide prevention, women veterans care. This is what we're seeing at the hospitals. When you think the VA medical centers are hospitals. To talk through clinics, some of the things listed for Harlem VA clinic, addiction and substance abuse care, homeless veteran care, mental health care, primary care, just 4 services. When you contrast the clinic versus the hospital. Staten Island has more, but the same idea of fewer services compared to the hospital itself. And then for the vet centers, the vet center is more about mental health related needs and behavioral needs. It's not a place where you're looking at pharmaceutical support or things along those lines. And so when we look at the vet centers, to list some of the services offered at Harlem Vet Center, individual and group counseling, family counseling for military related issues, it's bereavement counseling, military sexual trauma counseling referrals, community outreach and education, substance abuse assessment referrals, employment referrals, and referrals of other VA health services. So it's of other VA services. So you can see this difference between the vet centers and what they do on the counseling side, the clinic and what they do as far as a limited group of services, and the hospitals themselves, which are really the juggernaut.
Yeah, the hospitals also have, again, like you said, one-stop shopping, and you don't have to travel all over the city or over the tri-state area. So it's so important to keep that hospital or the hospitals open. So I just want to, take time out. I would like to turn it over to Councilmember Gail Brewer to give remarks on her resolution.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry to be tardy, and I have read your testimony, sir, and I could not agree more, and also with the chair. These hospitals must stay open. I can't tell you how many times I've stood there with Congresswoman Maloney, Senator Gillibrand, and others, because we've been through this scenario before. There was a time also when the hospital, at least in Manhattan, was supposed to close, and we fought it. And we absolutely have to do the same. I remember during COVID, we're all trying to find, a shot. And guess where the best shot was? It was only for veterans, as it should be, or their families. But the VA hospital was the first, the most organized, did the most outreach, et cetera. And also, I have to say, I've been there a few times when the Local 802 from the Metropolitan Opera came and performed for the veterans, and that's like heaven to be in that space. Cannot close that hospital. I know the chair feels the same way. He's actually written a letter. So I'm here, my husband is a vet. I have spent a great deal of time working on these issues. The Soldiers and Sailors Monument in our area on the Upper West Side means everything to me. We're gonna find that friggin' $50 million to fix it up and make sure that it's what it should be. And obviously, I wanna thank your department, because over the years, when I was borough president, we often had veterans who are in our Uptown 125th Street office to assist people. You have to have peer-to-peer. You said that several times. The work that is done in the courts, mental health for veteran courts, only veterans. The judge has to be a veteran. The people who work there have to be a veteran. You can't bring veterans to another hospital, basically. It's got to be peer-to-peer. I don't understand why the federal government doesn't understand that. So I'm here basically to say that Reso 130 calls on the federal government to halt immediately any planned closure of the Manhattan and Brooklyn Veterans Affairs Medical Centers. I don't think I need to, you just listed all the amazing services, and you said very, very clearly that if it's not carried out by those who understand the veteran experience, it's not going to work. So stop thinking, federal government, that it will, because it won't. We have over 210,000 veterans living in the 5 boroughs. Obviously, I know one of them quite well, but I also know many others. They have unique needs. We should be expanding more resources, making sure that they get the care and mental health services that they require. So this is not a done deal, as I understand it, so this is the time to fight. We have a long road ahead. So I thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for all of your caring and commitment to the veterans. And I think that we need to make sure that this does not happen. And I look forward to supporting with my colleagues this resolution. At least it would put the city of New York on record. We care about our veterans, and for goodness sake, do not close these hospitals that have the ability. Find other ways to make them available to even more families or to other kinds of opportunities. They have excellent doctors. They have excellent, committed health professional staff. I've met many of them. And I want to go to the Philharmonic and or the Metropolitan Local 802 orchestras in the lobby. It's phenomenal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Brewer, and thank you for your decades of service to our veterans, and you continue that work in this new council. I just want to go over a few more questions, and I'll turn it over to my colleague, Councilmember Ariola. But the veterans' access to health care. U.S. veterans are eligible for VA health care based on length of service and discharge status. To the best of your knowledge, Commissioner, what percentage of New York City's veterans are ineligible for VA health care?
Before I answer that question, Mr. Chair, I just want to say thank you again to Councilmember Brewer for her steadfast support. Same thing for you also, being the son of a veteran and being the wife of a veteran. It's allies like you that make it possible for us to win these fights, because we have to keep fighting. I just wanted to acknowledge that. As far as the number of veterans who are eligible for VA health care, a couple of pieces of this as far as how to respond to this. One piece is it's nuanced how the VA determines eligibility. Anyone who served prior to September 7th, 1980 is considered effectively to be someone who is able to access health care, no questions asked. Once you get beyond September 7th, 1980, the rules change a little bit, in that if you enlisted after September 7th or you entered active duty after October 16th, 1981, then you need to have served 24 months on federal status as far as active status, or have completed whatever your federal obligation was, active duty. There are other caveats there. And on the other side of it, if you're a guardsman or reservist, you need to have been on federal orders and completed the term of orders, separate from having completed annual training. So this is a difficult question to answer. It's nuanced. I want to say that. I also want to call out, though, the VA puts out its own gross domestic expenditure report where it says, here's what we estimate the population of those who are eligible to be is. Most recent report was published June 7th this year. That's FY21. The count they have of eligible in the 5 boroughs is 164,745. 164,745. We always say a larger count for our number of veterans because we're including so many other people. If you look at all these different nuances, you can see why our number is higher than what they've got as their estimate. But it's 164,745, and of those, 24.6% utilize the VA healthcare system.
So, you mentioned something in your testimony that I just want to, which was kind of alarming. I mean, when you look at it, since February 2021, DVS staff have conducted just under 900 health assessments, of which 18% indicated severe anxiety or depression. And are those people that you surveyed, they weren't receiving any health services, to your knowledge?
I want to defer to Amari from our team to dig
Okay.
deeper in that answer, but I just want to call out what we started to do working with the Office of Community Mental Health was put questionnaires up as far as this GAD-7 and the PHQ-9, the screeners for depression, for anxiety, so that, you know, when someone comes to us, we would ask them these things. We can't force someone to answer, but we would take what we could to see if there's anyone who's in a crisis point so we can work with them. Someone could come to you about housing, but then you learn there are other things going on. They could come to you about claims, you learn there are other things coming on. And so, you know, this is how we're able to identify these individuals so we could see and make sure that there was a net there. They weren't going to completely fall or have issues on the mental health side. So I'll defer to Amari to just add more info there.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. And good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Councilmember Ariola. Good morning, Councilmember Brewer and Committee Council. So yes, the 18% is an alarming number of severe diagnoses for anxiety and depression. You know, it really, the individual circumstance of that veteran dictates what type of treatment they may be or maybe not receiving it. Many of our veterans are already connected with healthcare through the vet center or the VA or maybe even their own private healthcare. So, you know, we started these mental health screeners in partnership with the Mayor's Office for Community Mental Health, and it's really used as a tool for us to better gauge the needs within the community. So we do get oftentimes veterans that are already receiving treatment, you know, and they say, you know, I'm okay, I have my therapist, my psychiatrist, et cetera. You know, I'm looking for, you know, for a job, or I'm looking for help with affordable housing, something like that. So it really depends on the individual circumstance, but we still, you know, recommend certain treatments that they may not be privy to, and other community-based resources for their mental health, for their specific needs as well.
Yeah, but again, in just dealing with serious mental illness, everybody knows, at least most of the doctors will tell you this, that serious mental illness left untreated always gets worse. It doesn't get better by itself. And I experienced that, by the way, in my life with my father serving in World War II. He had post-traumatic stress disorder, but nobody ever diagnosed it. The VA certainly didn't understand it then. And left untreated, he had a very difficult life. So did my family, so I'm a firsthand knowledge. I have firsthand knowledge of what happens to a family, what happens to a person who has the memories, the horrendous memories of war, and they're not treated. So if we have this many, and who are not being treated or not being diagnosed. And another thing that you mentioned in your testimony, Commissioner, is that only 14.9% of New York City veterans currently receive disability compensation, and we believe the number of those who are eligible may be much higher, especially in the Honoring Our PACT Act, if the Honoring Our PACT Act passes. Mm-hmm. So we talked about this earlier when I met with you, that's a low number. The national average is what, like for disability?
25.6% U.S. The national average, so America, 25.6%.
25. So
New York City, 14.9%.
We're about 15% in New York City. So we have some work to do, which is why my bill to establish a Veterans Committee on each community board can help with communications and access to health care. And certainly mental health care, which is very, very important, which, again, that's the most alarming part that we're seeing, and certainly in your testimony. So let me just ask a few more. Do you have any questions, Councilwoman? Okay. The Veterans Choice Act, Commissioner, of 2014 and the Mission Act of 2018 sought to streamline and expand access to private sector community-based health care for those veterans. If a veteran contacts DVS in need of a physical or mental health care referral, what criteria does DVS employ to determine if the veteran should utilize the VA's community care program instead of visiting a VA facility?
Mr. Chair, just I guess the issue is the VA makes that decision of which door they push someone on as far as that, whether they go through the VA's community care program or whether they use their own internal health care assets. So unfortunately for us, it's referring someone to VA healthcare and getting them in that door for it. Once they're in that door, then the VA will make that decision as to whether this person will go down the VA community care program aisle or whether they'll go down the VA Veteran Health Administration aisle, dealing directly with them.
Yeah, and on that, according to a 2018 survey conducted by the RAND Corporation, only 20% of New York licensed healthcare professionals reported routinely screening their patients for a military or veteran affiliation. And only 2.3% of New York State healthcare professionals fully met the recommended criteria to be able to provide timely, high-quality care with an informed understanding of a veteran military history. So this is why, again, it's so important not to close our hospitals. So all these facts and figures point to how absurd it is to close any hospital, first of all, but certainly a veterans hospital. So what comments and feedback and patterns has DVS observed about medical practitioner readiness from those veterans who have sought treatment from providers outside the VA?
We've seen veterans say, hey, look, I would rather engage with people who better understand my issues and my needs, is one piece of it. We've seen veterans who say, look, I'd rather be in a place where there's so much camaraderie when I walk into my VA medical center to be able to see brothers and sisters in arms and family members. So we've seen those types of things. And on the cultural competency point, we're trying our best to combat this, Mr. Chair. We've developed communities of practice known as our crisis intercept mapping networks in different areas within the city where we try to make sure that our healthcare providers on the mental health side and the general health side are educated on how to interact and how to engage our veterans. So we're doing what we can to try to increase that competency. But I think a key piece of it is to be able to work with someone who directly can identify with what I'm going through and to be around the community as far as be within my tribe.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to a lot of veterans, and they like to be with other veterans. They like to talk, and I have a lot of VFW and American Legion posts in my district, and that's why they're still continuing, and they need to talk about the issues that they're facing, and that's how some of them receive treatment, certainly, because they talk to other veterans, and so I don't know why the VA doesn't understand this. It's amazing that they want to just scatter health services to veterans, when veterans, by the way, go to facilities, they know the doctors understand their treatment, what they need. They know, the doctors know what their problems are, certainly, and they have a history of it, rather than just dealing with a new doctor and having to go into a situation that is not best for them. Yes. Does any of my colleagues have questions? Do you want? Okay.
Yeah, go.
Okay.
As long as we're on the topic of mental health, many of the veterans that we come into contact with, whether it's in shelter or unhoused, have mental illness. And I'm very interested in the Vet Connect program that you run. So for FY 2021, what was the total number of service requests for health-related services received by the agency? And of that total, how many of the requests were made through Vet Connect?
I'll start and I'll let Amari tack onto this. And just right away, I'm going to just read information from Local Law 44 on this piece too. Thank you so much, Madam Councilwoman, for this question. For me, just the mental health client numbers I have right away, I'll be able to say. I've got the other reports I can go through, but for mental health, FY19, 44 mental health inquiries. FY20, 30 mental health inquiries. FY21, 127 mental health inquiries. Key changes here. One is we started to institute these questionnaires as far as the GAD-7, PHQ-9, so asking so we can see these things. Another piece is we brought Vet Connect in-house so we could have more just positive control over when folks reach out and have these needs and the follow-up and whatnot. Right. And so those are as far as the questions of what we've gotten that way. As far as Vet Connect, everything we do is through Vet Connect now. So it's not a situation where a few years ago, we would track what came to us through 311 would be separate from what came through Vet Connect, would be separate from what came through people just calling the agency, et cetera. Now, everything that we receive, we process in the Vet Connect platform. That is how we triage things and account for everything. So the numbers, when I read the 127 for FY21, that's all of it in that platform.
Okay. And how many service requests for mental and behavioral health services were received by the agency?
And I'm so sorry, I will get you the healthcare numbers. That was the mental health.
That was
that
mental
So the
health.
127 for FY21, that was the mental health. I'll go through, I've got the local laws right now to get you the broader healthcare numbers.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And does the agency have any information to share about the total number of service requests received? Well, no, okay, that was fine. You're saying that was part and parcel of, right? It was mental health
That's
and
correct.
health services.
And we have the total numbers too, just to get it down. So it's for record, FY19 total, inquiries received, 3955. FY20 total inquiries received, 3189. FY21 total inquiries received, 4,984. And so most recent fiscal year, 4,984 inquiries received in the agency. Madam Councilwoman.
So having worked for a hospital system that had a lot of veterans programs, it's a not-for-profit, but had a lot of free services for veterans in case they wanted to come, and especially in the dental program. So a lot of it was a lot of outreach that had to be done, and then a lot of follow-up. So my question is, because it's very difficult to track our veterans, especially if they are unhoused or in our shelter system, how does Vet Connect track to make sure that there's follow-up, healthcare visits being kept, the appointments being kept? Is there a follow-up with that veteran?
I'm going to defer to Amari, who runs the system, to go deep on that, but I want to be clear. When we took ownership of this, because before this was something that was contracted out as far as who dealt with all the engagement and the care coordination within, when we took control of it, it was for the explicit purpose to be able to stick the landing on follow-up, and that's a key reason why many of these numbers spike if you look at it from FY20 to 21 when we had positive control over it. But I'll defer to Amari to add more.
Sure, thank you, Commissioner, and thank you for that question, Councilmember. So you're correct when you say that it is difficult to get this outcome data for the treatment that we refer our veterans to. So within the Vet Connect NYC platform, anytime a referral is made, that provider either accepts or rejects that referral. Usually if they reject it, it's because they're at capacity or they simply don't provide that service. We've been trying to gather data. It has been a challenge, though, because of HIPAA laws and various other barriers to collecting the information. But most recently, DVS has created a constituent satisfaction survey that we are sending out to each veteran that we've referred. And hopefully from that we can gather a trend analysis to really look at how that referral process is working and if, in fact, their mental health has improved. So it's something that we have fought with, to gain, and hopefully we can have some data to report back to the council in the near future on those surveys.
I'm interested in the survey. How do they receive the survey?
It's via email, Councilmember.
Via email?
Yes.
Okay, so when they log in, they have an email address and such, and that's how you communicate.
Correct.
Back
yes.
and forth with them. Okay, I'm good, Gail.
Okay,
Thank you. I'll now turn it over to Councilmember Brewer.
thank you. Just following up on that, I know we've tried for years when folks leave the service, coming to New York, we're trying to keep them out of the shelters, but you still don't have the ability to know who's coming to New York, right? Because that would be an example of how you could start the tracking.
That's correct. That's correct, Madam Councilwoman. We know what our point in time count tells us. We're just now starting to ask this question of those whom we see. 12 months prior to being housing insecure, where were you? What we've seen is that people are giving us answers like, I was in Chicago, I was in New Jersey, I was in Texas, et cetera. So we're trying to get a handle on what proportion of our housing insecure veterans are originally from New York City versus those who come here because of this being a right to shelter place.
Right.
And then with that, go to the VA and say, look, will you fund us as far as expanding some of these efforts, because this is a national, we're taking care of people beyond the 5 boroughs here, but this is a very important point that we're trying to nail down.
I've been
Madam
trying for
Councilwoman.
20 years, so. I said, I've been trying to do it for 20 years. We need to work on that more, because that would help you with your tracking if you had those numbers immediately. All right, so let's keep working on that.
Yep, yes,
I know you talked about the Air Commission. If you could just be a little bit more specific, I know you spoke about it, and I read your wonderful testimony. The last time we went through this, did the proposal get to the Air Commission, or did it stop before it got there? And has the mayor, I haven't heard the mayor talk about this issue, maybe I missed it, but I think that we need to have a much bigger sound voice about this issue. So two things. One, where are we exactly with the Air Commission, and what can we do to be helpful, and what has the mayor done?
First off, just, I got to take it from 30,000 feet and then drill down to this. I keep telling veterans, it's almost like we fight for the next generation. Like we fight for the next generation to benefit. It goes all the way back to, was it Captain Daniel Shea, Shea's Rebellion, 1786. Veterans of the Revolutionary War, protesting to get benefits. And you can keep going and going and going. We track this back. I've had veterans say, this reminds me of the fight to keep the Manhattan VA alive in 2004.
Correct. Reminds
me of the fight to keep VA services. It was a fight in 96. We found a fight back in 1980. It keeps going back. And so from broader strokes here, it's our turn, I hate to say this, to fight for the people who come after us to have benefit, to be able to benefit. As far as the question about the mayor, he has made public statements about this subject, just making it clear that we are lockstep with the council and lockstep with our delegation here in New York, being against any sort of closure or realignment or changing of the transportation arteries for our VA, for our networks. And then to speak on what's going on in DC right now, the commission needs to be approved by the Senate. That hasn't happened yet. And so one thing that is occurring is it seems that members of our U.S. Senate are making sure that that commission is not approved, because if they don't meet certain timelines, this entire process dies. And so that's where this currently is as far as the actual state of play with things. I hope that answers the question.
No, that's your question, and we'll follow up, because now that we know that that's where the pressure point is, no commission, no closure, and that's where we should be.
Yeah.
All right.
And I just, for the record, just to say that the statement the mayor put out was in March about this, being clear about our stance on this.
He needs to do it more often, and he needs to do it louder, because the veterans, like, I talk to them also. I talk to the ones that are always disgruntled. Those are always my constituents. And they are not happy that he's not saying it enough. I'm just telling you. So tell Mr. Mayor that he has to talk about it more often.
No, I appreciate you saying that.
Thank
you so
you very
much.
much.
We take the message.
So, Commissioner, just why can't, this is an interesting question, is why can't DVS get a list of veterans who have veteran, quote unquote, on their driver's license or state ID? This might, be a way to expand outreach and connect with veterans. Have you looked at that?
A couple of things. That's a great question. We have. It's just recent that the state passed legislation where the Department of Motor Vehicles will share that information with the New York State Division of Veteran Services. And so that legislation just took effect May 10th this year, as far as where they now have a data sharing program officially. We're working on a memorandum MOU with New York State DVS so we can have a data sharing agreement, so we can be able to plug into that as well to try to make sure we can identify as many of our vets as possible.
Do you know when that's going to happen?
I don't want to put a set timeline on it. I believe it'll happen very soon. There's a back and forth between our general counsel and their team at the state to just lock this in so we can have all that information.
Yeah, that's very important to get, again, do we make sure our New York City veterans get the services they deserve and are entitled to? And certainly in the disability area, we're lagging way behind the national average. So that's critical that we reach out. And I think DVS, that's really one of your mission statements is to connect with the veterans of New York City to make sure that they're getting the veterans, the benefits they deserve. So, if you can give us like an update on that, when that might happen or how close we are to that.
As soon as it's in place, we'll let you know, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So I have a few more questions on my bill. The community boards establishing a veterans committee. Currently, how often and by what mechanism does DVS communicate with local community boards? Does DVS attend monthly district service cabinet meetings? ever?
So we've attended borough board meetings. We've also attended individual community board meetings as well. We had a push last year to try to get many of our veterans to sign up to join community boards, push in social media, push on in our newsletter also, to try to increase the amount of synergy in this area. So we do have regular touches. We also we continue to maintain the list of district managers and community board chairs as well, and we invite them to various events like our Fleet Week breakfast, Veterans Day. I personally will send a holiday email individually to each of our district managers and community board chairs of the 59. Mr. Chair.
So how often does DVS connect with VFW halls, American Legion halls, or posts to understand the needs of veteran service groups? Because they have their own meetings in places. Do you ever send a rep to these meetings?
We will send reps when invited, and we will just attend when we hear about them. A key piece for us is to maintain the line of communication. During COVID, we had a microgrant program where we distributed microgrants to many of our veteran service organizations. So we were able to raise money and then took that money and cut it up evenly, so each of our VSOs received $1,136 apiece that applied for it. We also pushed out gift cards we received from Home Depot to our various VSOs. And so things like this allow us to keep that line of communication. A lot of our food work also involved us putting food together, which still occurs every Wednesday in East New York, and was occurring in Bronx for over a year and a half. We would have food, we would police up, and then have the VSOs come pick up those meals to go get out to food insecure New Yorkers. And so these are ways where in real time we maintain lines of communication with our VSOs, Mr. Chair.
So you mentioned in your testimony about, you said that the mayor or the mayor's office, or at least the administration, is still looking at the feasibility of having committees, veterans committees on community boards. Why not just say, yeah, this is a good idea, rather than even like, what's to discuss on this? I mean, I think we all agree that if we're for veterans, that we should have community boards have a committee. Whether it's mandatory, and I would like to see it mandatory, that every community board, because they all have veterans living in the district, obviously. So why not have a committee that would just work with them, and especially given the stats that we have citywide, that veterans in New York City are not getting what they deserve. So anything, certainly communications would help. So why wouldn't the administration say automatically, yeah, it's a good idea? Do we have to discuss this, really?
Yeah, for me, I support the intent of it completely. I'm very much in the corner on this. I'm respecting the larger process. I recognize that this is something that's bigger than DVS as far as the structure of these boards. So, yeah, but for me, to be clear, we very much support the intent. We understand what the end state is with it, and I can't emphasize enough how much we appreciate the leadership on this. I'm looking at it from the perspective of respecting a larger process here as far as what's going on with
So you have discussed this with the administration, the idea?
That is correct, Mr. Chair, yes.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, but when can we get an answer on this? Because we would like to advance this, and the sooner the better. So what I would like is that we don't just go forever and then we're into the next year and still this thing is not moving. So I would like a commitment, maybe with the next hearing or even before, that the administration is willing to do this, because this seems like a no-brainer to me. So I'm a little surprised that we're even getting like, oh, we'll get back to you on this. So it shouldn't be. So I will talk to the administration myself. I mean, I know you can only do so much, but I think this is a very important bill. And we tried this in the last council. It didn't go anywhere. So I don't want the same thing to happen, because I think we introduced this 2018 to 19, and it was we had multiple council members who were supporting it, and it didn't get to a vote. So I would like, I don't want to dwell on this, but I would certainly like some kind of feedback from your office as to what the administration feels about this, one way or another. If they're against it, then we'll go to whatever we have to do. We'll do the end around. Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions from my colleagues? Thank you, Commissioner. Thanks so much for your testimony. I appreciate it.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just to say...
Happy Father's Day to you, too.
Thank you so much. If I may just say one thing, just for our audience that's watching this from afar, just to make sure that if anyone needs any support from the agency, you can always call us, email us, find us on social media. The number is 212-416-5250, 212-416-5250. Website is nyc.gov/vets. It's nyc.gov/vets. They can email us. It's connect@veterans.nyc.gov. It's connect@veterans.nyc.gov. Our social media handle is @NYCVeterans, @NYCVeterans. And happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Commissioner. And if somebody from certainly your office can stay for public testimony, I think we...
I'm going to be sitting in the back.
You're going to be in the back. Great.
Yeah.
I kind of expected that. Thanks so much, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have concluded administration testimony. We will now turn to public testimony. I'd like to remind everyone that we will be calling on individuals one by one to testify. Each panelist will be given 3 minutes to speak. For virtual panelists, after I call your name, a member of our staff will unmute you. There may be a few seconds of delay before you are unmuted, and we thank you for your patience. The sergeant at arms will make an announcement before you start your testimony. Council members who have questions for a particular panelist should raise their hand or alert committee staff. You will be called on after the panel has completed their testimony in the order in which you raise your hand. I would like to now welcome Kevin Lapham. After Kevin, Joseph Riota. You may begin.
I will try to keep this to 3 minutes. I believe I may go over a little bit. Good morning, Chairperson Holden, council members, and guests. Thank you for this opportunity to testify on behalf of the American Federation of Government Employees, National Veterans Affairs Council, in support of Resolution 130-2022. AFGE's National Veterans Affairs Council represents 283,000 VA employees, including the majority of employees at the Brooklyn and Manhattan VA hospitals, who have the privilege of caring for veterans every single day. Many of these employees are also veterans who receive their care from the VA, myself included. I'm a National Health and Safety Representative for the National VA Council, the second Vice President for the New York, New Jersey VA District Council, and a Desert Storm Army veteran. I've worked at the Manhattan VA both clinically and non-clinically for almost 20 years. My current assignment is with the Research and Development Service. Councilmember Brewer's resolution will send a strong message to the VA Secretary and to Congress that proposed closures must not go forward. What veterans deserve instead are fully staffed facilities and a true capital investment in VA infrastructure to meet the growing demands of aging veterans and veterans who gain eligibility through new laws, such as the pending toxic exposure legislation. Excuse me. AFGE and the National VA Council have waged a long, intense fight against VA privatization, and we are fiercely opposed to the proposals to shutter the doors at the Manhattan and Brooklyn VAs and to close or gut dozens of other VAs across the country. We have urged Congress to reject the Air Commission outright by refusing to confirm any nominees to the commission and by enacting Senate Bill S. 4297, which is a bipartisan bill to repeal the commission. Privatization has already weakened the VA and sent large numbers of veterans to private, for-profit providers, especially since the passage of the VA Mission Act of 2018, which created the Air Commission. Private sector providers often do not understand veterans' unique conditions and are not held to the same high standards as the VA for wait times, driving times, or quality of care. Veterans have reported that their medical records have been lost and to receiving medical bills and bad credit because of delays in VA payments to private providers.
You can go on. You can go on.
Thank you, sir. Closing our facilities will only subject more veterans to these hardships. Privatization has increased incrementally every year through chronic short staffing and underfunding of infrastructure needs. In my department, for example, we've lost over a third of our staff, and there's no plan to replace them. In the general preventative medicine department of the Brooklyn VA, support staff are performing double the official workload, while management seems unwilling to recognize this or to fill the 10 vacancies that have caused this strain. The recommendations are based on pre-COVID data and incorrect assumptions about future patient enrollment and private sector capacity and willingness to care for veterans. The New York market data fails to reflect all the veterans and non-veterans who received life-saving care at the VA when the pandemic overwhelmed Elmhurst Hospital, and the valuable training opportunities that will be lost if these facilities closed. In fact, the proposed closures have already caused some dietitians and social workers to leave the Brooklyn VA for other more secure positions elsewhere. The market data also fails to explain what happened to all the Superstorm Sandy funds that were supposed to repair and upgrade these facilities. The recommendations use words like reset, realign, right size, modernize to justify closing VAs and sending veterans to private sector hospitals or to VAs that will require longer, more costly travel. They also ignore the fact that not a single dollar has been appropriated to modernize or expand the Bronx or St. Albans VAs to replace vital services that will be lost, like Brooklyn's residential substance abuse treatment program. Finally, the recommendations do not reflect the full cost of closing our emergency rooms, which fulfill a unique need for veterans in crisis. At the VA, these veterans meet with specially trained VA police officers and emergency medical personnel who know how to talk them down, have access to their medical histories, and who can easily coordinate with their primary care providers. These closures would force veterans to either travel all the way to the Bronx VA or risk care at a private ER that doesn't understand the true wounds of war. At the VA, veterans feel like human beings, not just numbers. The community and camaraderie we find at Brooklyn's, that we find at Brooklyn's Homeless Drop-In Center or Manhattan's New York Harbor Club cannot be lost. The VA secretary keeps assuring employees that these recommendations will not lead to the loss of union jobs because displaced employees will be able to find work at other VAs or in telehealth. Tell that to the disabled veterans in housekeeping and groundskeeping jobs that are specially designated for veterans, and to the many healthcare workers in positions that must be done in person, such as respiratory therapy. In closing, I, the American Federation of Government Employees, and the National VA Council urge you, on behalf of the veterans who depend on the Brooklyn and Manhattan VAs, and for the dedicated frontline workers who care for them, please pass Resolution 130-2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your, by the way, thank you for your service, but thank you for a very powerful statement and of fact, obviously. But your comment on the pre-COVID data that they're using, because that's obvious that they're using pre-COVID data, because it's like the pandemic didn't happen to the VA, at least according to this. Like, we were looking for hospital beds. We were opening up Javits. We were opening up tents in the park. So were they paying attention to the pandemic? Was the VA actually, did they see this? To suggest closing any hospital, certainly we're still not out of the pandemic. This is an insult. Obviously, this is absurd. We're going to fight it, and certainly the resolution will pass. I can guarantee it, that it will pass the council, because we got 51 council members to sign on to a letter saying the same thing. And again, like I said in the beginning, it's never done. We never get 51 council members to agree on anything. Certainly, they agreed on this. So this, to me, is a slap in the face to New York City and to veterans that suggest even closing any hospital, but certainly a VA hospital. So again, your comments about losing their records and all sorts of other things, getting bills, that's an obvious, anyone could see that would happen, and it has, and by your testimony. So I thank you again for terrific and powerful testimony. And if my colleagues have any questions?
First of all, your testimony was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are any of the other unions, obviously not representing your employees, but any, like 1199, even though, because some of these unions, as you know, support fellow union members. And I just was wondering, because this is so important to us, have you gotten support from others to be, as we say, no air, no closure?
We have gotten, it's every union has stepped up to this. Within New York, well, within what is called VISN 2, which is the New York, New Jersey, we have SEIU, we have AFGE, we have National Nurses United, and we have the National Federation of Federal Employees. And all are speaking very much the same, that these closures need to be reassessed. They need to be repealed. This isn't the right way. Our veterans deserve better.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to call on Joseph Riota to testify. You may begin when the sergeant starts your clock.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for allowing me this time to voice my opinion. I apologize in advance. I'm a little nervous. I've never done this before, but I have a story that I hope you won't mind hearing. So my name is Joseph Riota. I was born in Argentina, and I came to the United States in 1974. I have lived in New York since then. I love New York, and I love this country, where I became a citizen as fast as I could legally do so. I am an American by choice. I am here to support the City Council's effort to oppose the closure of VA medical centers in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and anywhere else in our city, in our state, in our country. Unfortunately, I know firsthand how VA closures and privatization will harm the care of our veterans. My oldest son, Joseph Matthew Riota, or Joey as we call him, is an Air Force veteran who was honorably discharged 6 years ago. He suffers from schizophrenia and has received care for the last 6 years at the VA centers in Brooklyn, Manhattan, as well as Northport and Long Island. As you well know, the Air Commission's recommendation would largely dismantle these VA centers, which serve tens of thousands of veterans. So then the next logical question is, where would our veterans go when we close these facilities? I will give you a real-life example where they would go. On February 16th of this year, my son was taken by ambulance to Huntington Hospital in Huntington, Long Island. Huntington Hospital is a private hospital which is part of Northwell Health Corporation. Coincidentally, Northwell Health Corporation is one of the many corporate providers that will benefit from closing VA hospitals in New York City and Long Island. Another coincidence is that the nominee for chairman of the Air Commission, Mr. Patrick Murphy, is a consultant for Northwell Health Corporation. The care that my son received at Huntington Hospital was nothing short of inhumane. I have provided details in my written statement, but I'll summarize it like this. He was there for 5 days without a shower, 5 days without a change of clothes or underwear, 5 days without access to basic toiletries. My wife and I were barred from seeing him or talking to him on the phone or making any medical decisions about his medical care. And we're not just Joey's parents, we're also his legal guardians.
You can go on.
Thank you. Hospital staff at Huntington Hospital refused to recognize our guardianship, telling us for 5 days, quote unquote, that kind of thing does not apply here. I wrote to Mr. Michael Dowling, the CEO of Northwell Health Corporation, who had his executive director and medical director at Huntington Hospital write me 2 letters. Their medical director, after reviewing their security cameras footage and interviewing their staff, apologized to me on a letter that I have also provided as part of my written statement, and said on her letter, quote unquote, Northwell could have done better. Northwell could have done better. By the way, still to this day, no one has been disciplined because of the care my son received at Huntington Hospital. So I agree that many VA facilities need investment and modernization, but that is not a reason to close them down. As a matter of fact, when I was finally allowed to visit my son at Huntington Hospital, I can tell you firsthand, Huntington Hospital also needs infrastructure improvements and modernization. So both institutions need infrastructure and physical improvements, but firsthand knowledge, only at the VA, veterans receive compassion, respect, and outstanding medical care. Huntington Hospital, a Northwell Health facility, is a hellhole where mentally ill veterans are not allowed to shower, change clothes, even brush their teeth. And that is an example of where our mentally ill veterans will go if we close our VA facilities and replace them with Northwell facilities. In summary, none of our VA hospitals should be shut down. Please pass Resolution 130, 2022 without any delay. What we need is funding for the VA. What we don't need is a commission staffed with Northwell consultants making decisions about who treats our veterans. Thank you so much for this time.
Wow, that was, thank you so much for that testimony. You gave the best example as to why we have to keep these hospitals open. And I'm sorry your son went through this horror and your family went through it. And we will certainly look into it also as a committee. But if anybody hears this testimony, certainly the VA should have been here to hear this, because you probably gave the best graphic example that anybody's ever given, that I've heard, as to why we shouldn't, certainly shouldn't close these hospitals, but why the veterans need an experienced veteran physicians to take care of them and to help them. So, great example. I'm sorry again your son went through this, but be assured that your testimony will go a long way in helping us keep these hospitals open. And I know we will. We'll have to fight, obviously, but you gave tremendous testimony. I thank you for that. And again, I thank your son for his service. Sorry you had to go through this, but I think some good will come of this, of your testimony. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Next, we're going to turn to our virtual panels. Our next panel will be Derek Coy, followed by Joseph Vitti, followed by Kimberly Moore, and Dr. Ariane Lang. Derek Coy, you can begin when the sergeant starts your clock.
Starting time.
Sir, it seems like you're still on mute.
You have to wait to be unmuted, Mr. Coy.
Sergeant, can we unmute? All right. 1 second, we're trying to, we have some technical difficulties here.
Can you try speaking again, Mr. Coy?
Yeah, we still don't hear you. Well,
I think that we're having some technical difficulties, so we're going to come back to you, Mr. Coy. The next panelist we'll call on is Joseph Vitti.
Starting time.
Mr. Vitti, you can begin when the sergeant starts your clock.
One second, Joseph, 1 sec, we don't hear you in the committee room here. Okay. So it appears to be on our side then. Sorry.
They can hear him on Zoom, it's just the committee.
Yeah, apparently you can be heard on Zoom, but not in the committee room here, so we certainly want to hear your testimony. Still working on that. Yeah, we're not hearing.
We've notified IT, so.
Yeah, we're working on the sound problem. Sorry, there's going to be a slight delay. We're getting technical support here, so there'll be a slight delay. 5 minutes, I guess? 5 minutes, Sergeant? Okay. So I'm sorry for, we can't hear any of the people on Zoom in the committee room here. We can see you, but we can't hear you. Sorry.
Again, I'd like to just say we're working on technical issues. IT is on their way over, and we appreciate everyone's patience with the delay. We apologize.
Okay, we- on Zoom?
I'm not on Zoom.
We're not on Zoom here, no.
Joseph Villi, if you can if someone could unmute Joseph Villi and we can test your audio to see if it's coming through in the committee room, please.
Can you all hear me now? Any testing? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Hello, is there anyone on Zoom that can do a mic test?
Can you all hear me now? Any luck? I was able to hear the gentleman before me. Didn't seem like anybody else was able to.
testing.
I can hear you.
Okay, we heard something. Can you test it again?
Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Testing, testing.
Whoever just did an audio test, can you try and do another one?
Testing. Testing.
This is Jan Atwell. I don't know if you can hear me. It may be that the witness is too low.
We can hear you, Jan. Thank you.
Maybe we can go back to Mr. Derek Coy and see if that will work.
Hi, testing. Can you all hear me?
Mr. Coy, can you try speaking again?
Yes. Can you all hear me?
Yes, thank you.
You just have to make it louder. Okay, Mr. Coy, I think we're ready. Can you start speaking, or let's hear it?
Absolutely. Can you all hear me loud and clear? Excellent. Should I go ahead and get started?
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Chairperson Holden, and members of the committee for the opportunity to provide testimony at today's hearing. My name is Derek Coy, and I'm a program officer at the New York Health Foundation. I'm also a former sergeant, United States Marine Corps, and veteran of the Iraq War. Understanding and addressing the health needs of New York's veteran population is a core part of my role at the foundation, but I also have direct experience in accessing healthcare from a variety of sources after transitioning out of the military in 2008. As a service-connected disabled veteran who received an honorable discharge, I have also had some level of private insurance after leaving the military, so I'm fortunate to have access to both VA facilities in addition to private options, and I've used them both. Living a stone's throw away from the Bronx VA for nearly a decade while also working equally as close to my non-VA primary care provider has allowed me to choose whichever provider is most convenient at the time. And having these options has really given me a lot more control over my healthcare decisions. My experience is reflective of what most veterans prefer. Multiple studies have shown that most veterans choose between VA and private providers based on practical reasons, like their family already receives care in one location, one option is more convenient, or they prefer the care in one compared to another. We also know that my generation of veterans, those that served after 9/11, are split nearly evenly down the middle when given the option between accessing VA healthcare or a non-VA community provider. Despite this, there are a number of factors that create challenges and barriers to accessing care. For instance, only about half of the veteran population is enrolled in VA care, as you heard earlier today. And that's because of a variety of archaic and evolving eligibility standards. And about 2/3 of those eligible will actually use this care on any given year. And this is certainly true in New York as well. And this is unfortunate considering, again, as you've heard, VA care is often on par and even better when compared to private providers' quality. VA facilities nationwide outperform community hospitals in key areas of patient experience. Studies have shown that veterans who use VA care also rely on private options for about 70% of their healthcare needs. On top of this, VA outsources about 1 in 3 of its appointments to the private sector. And again, as you've heard, private providers can come at the risk of receiving services, or using private providers can come at the risk of receiving services that do not take the military and veteran experience into account. Research by the RAND Corporation and funded by NY Health shows that less than 3% of private providers in New York State meet the qualifications for providing high quality, culturally competent care to military veterans. Because of the evolving needs of the community, lacking this experience can have grave consequences. Veterans deserve both a strong VA and high quality community-based options so that they receive the best care no matter where they go, regardless of where they choose access. Providing healthcare should not be the responsibility of one sole entity, be it VA or private providers. The onus should be shared, considering the veteran community relies heavily on both for their healthcare needs. Providing veterans with options is the right thing to do and is reflective of what this community has expressed that it prefers. Veterans themselves need to have a prominent seat at the table in ongoing research and discussions. Regardless of the final results of the restructuring process, it simply cannot be successful if the voices of veterans whose access to healthcare will be directly impacted by these decisions are not heard and listened to.
Time expired.
We respect and share the council's commitment to New York City's veterans. I hope you will look to New York Health Foundation as a resource for this important work moving forward, and thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony today.
Thank you, Mr. Derek Coy, for your patience, by the way, and your terrific testimony. And I think we'll call the next panelist.
Mr. Joseph Vitti, you may begin when the sergeant starts your clock.
Starting time.
Good afternoon, Chair Holden and members of the New York City Council Committee on Veterans. My name is Joseph Vitti. I'm the Senior Advisor for Veteran Affairs for VNS Health and a former USMI officer. We are the largest hospice and home health service provider to veterans in New York City, caring for over 2,200 veterans for home care services and to over 950 veterans on hospice. VNS Health's Hospice Veterans Program is a Level 5 We Honor Veterans program. This is national collaboration between the Department of Veteran Affairs and the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization, which empowers hospice professionals to meet the unique needs of dying veterans to ensure a positive patient experience. VNS Health's Veterans Outreach Program has dedicated a team of veteran liaisons to support our veteran patients with their diverse and complex needs who come from all 5 boroughs of New York City. Through this program, we're able to expand healthcare access to veterans and their families and assist veterans in accessing their benefits, resources to which they're entitled to, and educate VNS Health staff about the unique needs of veterans and patients and their families. We're grateful for the recent $80,000 that the council included in the recent enacted FY23 budget. We had originally sought $250,000, reflecting our intent to expand outreach and connect more veterans to care. This additional funding would support our staff and resources with a focus in the Bronx and Manhattan and Queens, while expanding elsewhere where we are seeing increased census in other sites as well. Partnerships with a strong and adequately funded VA healthcare system in New York City is essential to our work. We need one another to refer and collaborate on care to better understand the evolving needs of aging veterans and to identify and respond to these trends. Of the approximately 140,000 veterans in New York City today, approximately 71% of them are 55 and older. This community has diverse and complex physical and mental health needs that the VA addresses with a multitude of services and benefits. However, because of the complexity of the VA system and systemic poor health literacy amongst veterans, many never fully access or utilize these benefits that they need. In addition, in the post-COVID era of digital literacy and access to telehealth services, there are even more critical. The VA healthcare system, including CBOCs and vet centers and community care network providers like VNS Health, provide access to affordable and accessible care to mitigate some of these social determinants that are prevalent within the veteran community. According to a peer-reviewed medical study, veterans are diagnosed with approximately 8 to 10 chronic conditions versus their non-veteran counterparts that are diagnosed with nearly half. For the thousands of veterans VNS Health has cared for over the years, health literacy has been a major need. Most veterans simply do not know what VA health benefits they are eligible for and how those benefits work in conjunction with Medicare, Medicaid, or their private insurance benefits. Veterans also do not realize that they can receive care with the support from the VA with their
Time
community.
expired.
Thank you for your opportunity to provide this testimony, and we appreciate the City Council's leadership on veterans issues and our ongoing efforts and partnerships. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joseph, and thank you again for your testimony and patience. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, we'll call on Kimberly Moore to testify. You may begin when the sergeant starts your clock.
Starting time.
Thank you to Chairperson Holden and the Committee on Veterans for the honor and privilege of testifying before you today. My name is Kimberly Moore, Director of Care Cafe at Yeshiva University's Wirtz-Weiler School of Social Work. Care Cafe is a citywide initiative that brings mental health services to vulnerable populations. Our students and faculty have pioneered a targeted model of embedding Care Cafe programs in local community institutions to provide mental health services tailored to specific constituencies, including vulnerable populations, Holocaust survivors, veterans, immigrant populations, and school-age children. Over the last year, many questions emerged about how and why veterans are not connected to medical services and other veteran-specific programming. Our findings have been that the low enrollment in veteran services was due to the many challenges with navigating the complex social systems, nuances around eligibility due to discharge status, long wait times, and feelings of distrust and resentment for some. In an effort to mitigate this, a pointed effort by many veteran services and community-based programs was initiated with the goal of re-strategizing around how to connect veterans to care effectively. Earlier this week, Care Cafe celebrated June's social awareness theme, Men's Health Month. Our invitation to collaboratively partner for the street outreach activity to the Vet Center's Veteran Outreach Program Specialist, Damian Guzman, served with us to engage veterans and their families on the spot to inquire about their needs, supports, and introduce the variety of available services for veterans. Standing together, a Veteran Services Program representative and a team of social workers provided several consultations and received direct requests for help from veterans to connect them to medical services and preventive services with a resounding theme of relief. One veteran explained that he has been having the same mental health challenges with depression for the past 15 years post-discharge from service and wants to work and cannot seem to move forward. After having a stroke 2 years ago and still experiencing neurological symptoms today, while not connected to medical care, another veteran indicated, I was on my way to the store, but I saw the veteran table here, and I realized that the time was now. I had questions. I am just happy that I was able to walk up and actually speak to a person. Since connecting with these veterans, both have followed up with the Care Cafe program, and we will have one-on-one support up to and including referrals for a health educator, assisting with scheduling appointments for specialty care, and linking them together for opportunities for healthy socialization. So to answer the question, how do New York City veterans access healthcare? The answer is with hand-over-hand approach, increased visibility, the strength of diversified linkages, and the increased frequency and utilization of non-traditional settings for direct outreach, such as faith institutions, community-based programs, and academic institutions. The Yeshiva University Wurzweiler School of Social Work Care Cafe program is positioned to serve in this capacity, and we wish to share with our colleagues to support the continued opportunities to support our veterans. Thank you so very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Kimberly, for your excellent testimony and highlighting the problems that our vets are facing. And the commissioner is listening to you right now. He's here, so I could assure you. Councilmember Brewer has a question.
Thank you very much. One question is, we obviously want to keep the hospitals run by the VA open. How have you utilized them, and how have you found them helpful or not?
Well, right now, we've actually just started partnering with the DVS and really utilizing those services now. So we're going to be actually hand walking the veterans that we've made contact with through these services to see how it actually works out. So we're very kind of new in this process, but we are going to be standing side by side to see what the seamless flow of service delivery looks like.
Thank you. Keep us updated. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, Kimberly, if you could actually contact my office for updates, we'd appreciate it, because
absolutely.
Your insight
Thank you
is
so
very,
much.
very important to us. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The next witness is Dr. Ariane Lang. You may begin when the sergeant starts your clock.
Starting time.
Good morning, Chair Holden and members of the New York City Council Committee on Veterans. I am Dr. Ariane Lang. I'm a clinical psychologist and the Assistant Director of the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Center at NYU Langone Health. I am testifying today on behalf of Dr. Amanda Spray, our Director. The Cohen Military Family Center at NYU Langone Health was established 10 years ago with the goal to fill in the gaps in mental health services available to veterans and their families in the New York City area. Since inception, our Military Family Center has provided mental health treatment to over 3,000 veterans and their family members. We have developed strong partnerships with the VA, the Department of Veteran Services, and many other veteran service organizations. The sheer number of veterans and family members served demonstrates the necessity for public-private partnerships in order to meet the needs of our community and ensure access to healthcare. In fact, we have found that veterans and their family members are seeking mental health services at a higher rate than any other point since we opened. We experienced a 170% increase in referrals over the past year. This sharp increase has resulted in struggles to meet the demand and ultimately a significant wait list for our services. Mental health is an essential component of the health and well-being of our veterans and military families, and as such, we see it as imperative that the DVS prioritize veterans' mental health by supporting their community partners who provide mental health treatment to veterans. The department has worked hard to connect veteran community to determine their needs in both before and throughout the pandemic. DVS does not provide any services to veterans directly. Rather, they serve as a bridge, which often results in referrals to our center and other essential services in the community. And while DVS always refers to our community partners to provide specific services that the veterans are seeking, they do not provide direct funding for these services. Direct funding support from DVS would ensure that these essential services provided by community partners, which DVS relies heavily upon to support the veterans, can continue. This is particularly important now when the need for mental health services are higher than ever before across the veteran and military family community. Veterans and their families seeking mental health services, and it's imperative to ensure that they can access these needed services. Our center is equipped to work together with the community to address the ever-growing needs of the veterans and their families, and we hope that the council will further invest in the veteran population to ensure that we're not leaving veterans and their family members behind. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify today.
Thank you, Dr. Ling, for your testimony. And I'd like you to, again, if you can contact my office so we can talk more about the funding part of it, we'd like to know about it. And certainly anything we could do for veterans, we'll try to work on. And any improvements, I'd like to hear from your office also as to how we can get better in providing services for our veterans. Thanks again for your patience and for your testimony. Thanks.
Absolutely, thank you.
Our next and final panel will be Peter Kempner, Dan McSweeney, and Dondi McKellar. Peter Kempner, you may start when the sergeant starts your clock.
Time starts now.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Peter Kempner, and I'm the legal director at Volunteers of Legal Service, also known as VOLS. In addition to my duties as legal director at VOLS, I also founded and supervised the VOLS Veterans Initiative. I also created and teach the Veterans Justice Clinic at New York Law School. I sit on the New York City Bar's Committee on Military and Veterans Affairs. I'm a member of the New York State Bar Association's Veteran Committee, and I co-chair the New York Legal Services Veterans Working Group. In addition, I've held many past positions focused on the civil legal needs of low-income veterans in New York City. The core work that the Veterans Initiative here at VOLS does for veterans is the drafting and execution of life planning documents. We do last wills and testaments, powers of attorney, healthcare proxies, living wills, and other advanced directives. Prior to the COVID-19 outbreak, the VOLS Veterans Initiative conducted a free weekly legal clinic at the Manhattan VA Hospital, where we provided free civil legal services to low-income veterans age 60 and over. After the crisis shut down the VA hospital to outside visitors, we moved our services online and launched a legal hotline for low-income aging veterans. Despite the move away from in-person clinics at the VA hospital, we maintained close ties to the social workers and other staff at the VA. They are a critical connection between the VA's patients and providers who serve the veteran community. VOLS is not the only legal services provider that maintains close ties to Brooklyn and Manhattan VA medical centers. Many of our fellow providers also recognize the importance that these facilities provide as a touch point between veterans facing legal challenges in addition to their medical needs. The social workers at the VA hospitals embody the holistic view that the best way to help veterans includes physical, psychosocial, and economic determinants. As a legal services provider, we often rely on referrals and assistance from the staff at VA hospitals to provide services. Recently, we were contacted by a veteran whose daughter received our information from a VA social worker. He's a 97-year-old World War II veteran who had been hospitalized at the Manhattan VA and was about to be transferred to a rehabilitation facility. He needed Medicaid to help cover the costs of home care, but he was unable to complete the forms by himself, and his daughter's hands were tied without a power of attorney. His daughter lived in Las Vegas and had been desperately calling service providers, but none were able to make the hospital visit to meet with him. We informed her that if we got the information, we'd be able to be at his bedside within 2 days, and we prepared that power of attorney to execute. When we arrived at the hospital, our partners on the VA social work staff informed him that he was about to be transferred to the rehab facility. We rushed down to his room with 2 VA social workers in tow to act as witnesses and arrived at the same time as the ambulance crew. We convinced them to wait for him to sign his documents before they took him to the ambulance to the rehab facility. we would not have been able to do this without this staff at the VA hospital and the social workers. The VA hospitals are unique places where veteran-centric care is primary, and it is a model which I have not seen replicated elsewhere. While the VA is not always perfect, I have no doubt that the over 200,000 veterans who call New York City home will lose a significant service if the Manhattan and Brooklyn VA hospitals were to close. Thank you to the sponsors of Resolution Number 130, and we support your calls to halt the closures of the Manhattan and Brooklyn VA medical centers. Thank you for allowing us to submit this testimony today.
Thank you, Mr. Kepner. By the way, it's great to see you again, and thanks for all that you do for our veterans. And it's a very important. And by the way, are you still meeting with them one-on-one personally? You're not doing it online anymore, right? Or you are? You do both?
We're doing both. We're not back in the center on a regular basis like we were pre-pandemic, but we will meet veterans in person, whether it's in our office or senior centers or at their hospital beds in the VA hospital.
Yeah, so it's so important the service you offer for our veterans who are older and that maybe don't have a computer or don't know how to navigate the system. So we thank you again, Peter, and keep up the great work. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Chair Holden. Thank you, everybody.
Next, I'd like to call on Dan McSweeney to give testimony. Dan, you may begin when the sergeant starts your clock.
Time starts now.
Great. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to see the city council members and staff, as well as Commissioner Hendon and his staff. The testimony that we've heard today obviously points to the fact that New York City has one of the best, if not the best, community of support for veterans in the country. The VA medical centers in Brooklyn and Manhattan are absolutely essential elements of that support network, and I am dumbfounded that they would be proposed to be closed. I have personal experience with the VA Medical Center in Manhattan because back in 2010, I suffered from a deep vein thrombosis and almost died without the care I received immediately by putting into the ICU at the 23rd Street Hospital. There are over 200,000 veterans in New York, as we know. I'm dumbfounded by the idea that they would even consider closing either or both of these facilities. So that's the first thing to say. The second thing to say is the idea of adding veterans committees at each of the community boards is a no-brainer. This is where the rubber meets the road when it comes to policy making and implementation and developing relationships in New York City. Veterans should be formally represented in the community boards. That's really all I have to say. I appreciate the fact that attention is being paid to these critical issues, and I want to thank everybody for your service.
Dan, thanks so much for your testimony and lending your voice to the battle to not close these hospitals. But your personal story is very, very important, and we need to hear from more veterans who certainly want to keep the hospitals open, and how important the hospitals are to your, certainly your health. So we thank you again, Dan, and again, please keep in touch with us because your voice is very, very important to hear. Thank you.
I just want to say I second that, of course, Dan McSweeney. This is a gentleman, Mr. Chair, who is active in his community, both for Veterans Affairs and also just community-wide. So he's a hero in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Last on this panel, I'd like to call Dondi McKellar. You may begin when the sergeant starts your clock.
Time starts now.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Chairman Robert Holden and members of the Veterans Committee, thank you for this time. Greetings, my name is Dondi McKellar. Pronoun is he, him. I'm a proud LGBTQ+ United States Navy service disabled veteran. I served in the Navy from 1981 to 1987. I come before you today because I support federal government to halt the planned closure of the Manhattan and Brooklyn Veteran Affairs Medical Centers. I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, due to military sexual trauma and lung cancer. I rely on both the Manhattan and Brooklyn VA facilities for my health care and quality of life. Without these medical centers, I feel that my life expectancy is bleak. In 1981, I was brutally sexually assaulted on a military base in Meridian, Mississippi, requiring hospitalization for 2 weeks with a perianal cyst, anal warts, and hepatitis B, which I sustained from the assault. At 19, I was naive and thought that the bumps that was around my rectum was hemorrhoids, which I was told after the assault. I applied Preparation H given to me by medical personnel. I finished in 1985 with my active duty portion of my enlistment. I registered and started going to the VA Medical Center in Manhattan. My first visit, I requested Preparation H, and they asked me why. I explained that I had hemorrhoids, and this was what was given to treat them. The facility scheduled an appointment to see a doctor who informed me that I had anal warts and not hemorrhoids. The Preparation H was not the treatment for this condition. Had them surgically removed in 1987 after undergoing treatment for 2 years at the facility. Unfortunately, they was growing inside of my body, and this was the course of treatment recommended to correct the medical issue, restoring me with some sense of dignity. I was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2015 and received treatment at the Brooklyn VA Medical Center. They are the only VA facility in the 5 boroughs that treat veteran cancer patients. My glomus tumor is very rare, less than 50 in medical recorded condition history. One of my physicians' name is Mohammed Alijan. His team published the findings of the glomus tumor in CHEST annual meeting 2017, Toronto, Canada. The team came up with a way to treat and monitor the growth of my glomus tumor. You see, only 3 out of 10 patients survived the carotid resection procedure surgery due to the locality of the tumor. I'm glad that the team at the Brooklyn VA Medical Center found another approach. Fortunate to be seen at Memorial Sloan Kettering Medical Center too, during the pandemic, needed my procedure done. Memorial Sloan Kettering Medical Center was unable to ensure the treatment. They could only see me as an ambulatory patient. I needed to have someone to pick me up afterwards. I didn't have anyone because I live alone. The Brooklyn VA Medical Center sent a car to my home in the Bronx and kept me overnight to ensure I got the health care I needed to stay alive. They sent me back home by car and called and checked on my recovery the next day. I know the service given to me at the New York City Veterans Affairs Medical Centers have been life-saving and healthcare is outstanding. The environment is set up so you can receive a variety of helpful information to assist you when you transition to civilian life. I received a recommendation to be a part of the medical marijuana program to help me with my PTSD and the glomus tumor from the VA Manhattan Medical Center. Was able to use Nudge MD to complete the process and receive a medical marijuana card. I believe that the New York City VA Medical Centers place the veterans' overall healthcare needs first. I need for these facilities to remain open. And thank you for your time. Dondi McKellar.
Thank you, Dondi. Nice to see you again, by the way, and thank you for your heartwarming story. This is a very, very important part of this hearing. Your testimony that really the hospital saved your life and certainly gave you comfort and really obviously you had the best treatment possible at the hospital, and we thank you for your testimony. And again, great seeing you again, and hopefully we'll see each other again. But I just want to wrap up this hearing and thank you all for the testimony, your very valuable testimony. All the panelists were great. And in closing, I want to thank Bianca Vitale, who was a committee counsel for us for the Veterans Committee, and she went to the other side, but we want to, that's the good side too, so we're both working as a team, and we want to thank Bianca for all her great work on this committee, and we wish you luck, and we know you have a great boss, so you should be in good hands, and I want to thank Elizabeth Arts, also our counsel, who's done a great job your first hearing, and thank you so much for that. And Sergeant at Arms, thank you all. Thanks for your help. And so this hearing is adjourned. Thank you.